Yes.
So today's session, we're just going to talk about industry trends that we see with our credit union clients, and we'll also talk about member expectations, and then ultimately how Doxim CCM can help with supporting those trends, will help with driving change within credit unions and helping to really meet those member expectations. But before we kick that off, did you want to jump into an overview about Doxim, Kenton?
Yeah, so by way of introduction for prospects who maybe are not yet familiar with Doxim, we are a digital first company with a strong focus on being able to produce personalized, relevant, timely communications through the digital channel while also simultaneously supporting traditional means of communication through print. We currently partner with 20 plus correlation clients. We've really been able to help champion the drive towards digital adoption, digital engagement, which really helps to brace and ensure a future-proof communication channel for them, for those FIs. So I know we're very excited to show an overview of our suite of solutions, which support that communication channel.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to touch on a bit are the trends that we see today in credit unions. And oftentimes those trends, they bring innovation. And so what we see here with respect to the industry is that there's definitely a demographic shift that's occurring. I'm sure all of our clients and all of the correlation clients can see that there's different demands coming through from their membership based on demographics. And so there's new millennials, there's financially savvy members that need a greater depth of engagement. There's retiring baby boomers, but something that is common across all of those demographics is a sort of consumer shift towards digital and instant gratification. And I like to refer to that as sort of the Amazon effect. It's Amazon that sort of set the expectation for everyone to believe that, once you move to digital, everything is super easy. Everything is just a click away. And so with that, along with technology transformations that are occurring within the industry, where, a lot of credit unions are in some cases trying to angle to be a leader in sort of the digital space in order to maintain a competitive position. And there's a need to modernize technology in order to drive member experience. And so that's all occurring within the industry. And as well, there's the ever-present security and compliance requirements that exist in the industry. And certainly as we move more towards digital communications, the whole the whole component of cybersecurity takes a front seat with respect to our credit union clients needing to pay attention and needing to invest a lot of resources and effort into maintaining a strong cybersecurity position. And then finally, there's the whole element of new business models that's occurring throughout the industry. And that's really tied to, looking at different ways to service members, either through digital branches or through other digital means to ensure that they can service members in the way that, as you'd mentioned, Kenton, that members prefer. And so part and parcel to all of that is also ensuring that they have the operations that can scale with the adoption of technology. And so one of the key elements tied to the whole sort of new business models trend is the fact that, even though we're talking about digital transformation and innovation, there is always a need to balance off the legacy approaches of servicing members with this innovation. So it's it's always important to keep that in mind as you move forward. But one of the things that I really wanted to touch on is the fact that COVID has really amplified those trends. And so there's definitely a deepening importance to maintaining or establishing actually and maintaining those digital communications and digital connections with members. And so the whole concept of branchless service, the whole concept of actually, having those very strong digital connections with members is extremely important in this day and age. And so what this brings to mind is the fact that this is an opportunity to more intimately communicate with members, because we can all appreciate that digital communications that land on your smartphone are definitely more immediate and more personal to its recipients rather than something that's being sent through the mail. And so this is a great opportunity for credit unions to leverage these digital connections to increase share of wallet, to cross-sell and upsell with your membership. And also to move the needle on digital adoption. I do know that a lot of our clients prior to COVID, they were really struggling with trying to move that needle to get members to adopt to digital channels. And so with COVID, there's in fact, members are clamoring to move to digital channels. And so this is a great opportunity for credit unions to really leverage this opportunity to really put a firm foothold into the digital space. And so with all of this, again, I have to reiterate that there is a need to balance sort of the legacy ways of communicating with members with this innovation. Print, as we know it, it'll never go away. It'll simply reduce in terms of volume. And so, that's a nice segue into the reality of regulated business documents. As we talk about those legacy communications, that is the print communications that go out, it's important to note that there's a reality to it for our credit union clients, and that's tied to costs. And it's tied to, in a lot of cases, primarily to postage, because really it's 70% of costs tied to these printed regulated business documents is tied to the postage that gets paid to get those documents into the mailboxes of your members. And so we at Doxim, given our digital first approach to communications, we're motivated and well positioned to help credit unions to lower that cost that you pay to the post office while driving some very compelling and engaging digital experiences to your members. And so what we like to say is that, we're here to future-proof member communications on behalf of credit unions. That is, our CCM platform is an all-encompassing platform that covers not only the legacy channels, that is the print and PDF and composition, production and mailing of those communications, but also all of the next generation or all of the innovation associated with delivering those communications. And so that extends through to digital statements and what we regard as the future of those statements and regulated documents, that is HTML statements. We recognize that is the way forward with these documents because it's so flexible and can include a degree of interactivity, a degree of responsiveness and flexibility, as well as allowing credit unions to build in additional digital assets so that digital experience for that statement is augmented, is enhanced beyond what they would ever imagine possible with a print or a static PDF statement. And so with that, as I'd mentioned, HTML statements are our way forward. We do believe that this is the best way to engage members with something as traditionally static as a statement. Marketers love it because they can be completely dynamic, they can be completely responsive. Regulators or compliance folks within credit unions love it because we can build in accessibility features so that there is ADA compliancy associated with these statements. We can build that right into the documents so that so that all members, regardless of ability, are able to appreciate, consume, and understand the content. And members really love it because it's actually it's very easy and it's flexible and it's provides a very frictionless experience for them as they're accessing these digital communications through their smaller devices like smartphones. And so that's something to keep in mind in all of this as we move forward and think about the digital channels for delivery of these regulated communications, is that most Americans are using digital services and mobile devices. That is the gateway to the digital world for most people. And so it's very important to keep that in mind as you're thinking about moving to digital communications. And so the other thing I want to touch on is the fact that with the Doxim CCM platform, given the fact that we support all channels, both offline and online, we provide our credit union clients with the ability to get their message in front of members, regardless of how the member chooses to consume the communications. And so there is, getting your message in front of members means choreographing the use of print and digital channels for the greatest impact. It means, leveraging the flexibility of digital channels, and I'll jump into that as we move through the demo of HTML statements. And it also means taking every opportunity possible to deliver your message. And so you'll see that within a digital experience, within the digital experience that we can provide to credit union members, there are many opportunities to deliver the credit union's message. And so with that, I just wanted to quickly touch on, a broad overview of the Doxim CCM platform. And so really the CCM platform is the centralized platform for managing all of our credit union clients' member communications. And so that means receiving data from any source, from core systems, from CRMs, from online banking systems, whatever that might be, wherever there might be member data that needs to be incorporated into a communication. We can receive that data, we can parse it, audit it, validate it, and then create the regulated content that needs to appear in these key member communications that go out. And part and parcel to that is that we can open up authoring and design tools to allow credit union business users to manage content, to manage the templates, to manage key elements of content that appear in those member communications. And all of that is wrapped up with the security and compliance that we have established and that we maintain to ensure that our credit unions understand that their members' data is secure on the Doxim CCM platform. And part and parcel to the CCM platform is being able to, yes, create those communications, but also present and deliver it out through all of the channels that members prefer. And so that means delivering it through HTML, it means delivering it through email, through SMS, through the web channels, as well as making sure that all of those channels, that there's a point of interaction that we can develop between the credit union and member through those channels. And so that can take the form of preference management, which is the member indicating what channels they prefer to be communicated through. That means things like deploying member-facing portals on behalf of our clients so that the digital experience for members is well-rounded and very rich. And so all of that is built into the Doxim CCM platform, as well as the analytics and reporting that is very important to credit unions, so that you have a clear view of how your members are actually engaging with these communications. And so the analytics and reporting module of the Doxim CCM platform is extremely useful as sort of the feedback mechanism to allow credit unions to better understand how they can optimize and how they can improve their member communications. And so within the Doxim CCM platform, there are a number of features and solutions that will allow for the support, supporting, creating, managing, and maintaining all of those member communications. But if I sort of reorganize this, you can quickly see that the Doxim CCM platform is really tied to supporting three types of communications that really sort of round out the full spectrum of communications that credit unions may want to send out to members throughout the life cycle of that member. And so that's the regulated documents. That's those regulated business communications that we've been talking about, the statements, and the notices, the tax slips, those kinds of things. There's the digital business messaging, which is all of those associated digital notifications and alerts that a credit union may want to send out to its members. The simplest form of that would be something like the statement availability notification. And then at that point, pretty much any business transaction or account change can be accompanied by a digital business message in either SMS or email, or in some cases it may be delivered through a credit union's IVR system, if that's one of the channels that they've made available to their members. And then the third type of communications that the Doxim CCM platform supports is marketing messaging, and that's marketing messaging beyond simply email marketing, which we do have a full featured email marketing tool within the Doxim CCM platform. But I'm talking about marketing messaging that can be built right into these regulated business documents, as well as these digital business messages that go out to members. And then, so these communications can then be delivered out in a highly personalized way through all channels that a member may prefer, as well as through what we call the web channel, which is the member-facing microsite that we can deploy on behalf of credit unions to support the full digital statement experience. And the Doxim CCM portal is the gateway for our clients' administrators, for our clients' business users to access all of the tools and features and functionality that are available in order to support these kinds of communications that are being delivered out to their members through these channels. And so with that, I am just going to pause for a moment as I switch over to a demo environment. And open it up again as I walk through a demo of the Doxim CCM portal, which is our client's gateway onto our CCM platform, and also more importantly, the member-facing microsite that we can deploy, which is what we call our CXP, our customer experience portal. And so this CXP is really intended to sort of round out that digital experience for members when they move from the online or mobile banking platform into looking at their statements. And so at that point, we can integrate this CXP portal with our credit union clients' online banking system. So that is typically an SSO pass through from one system to another, just to ensure that the transition between two systems for a member is completely seamless. In other cases, it may be that the CXP here is positioned as within an iframe within the online banking system. Whatever it may be, we've encountered all scenarios of integrating with online banking, and we can certainly support any method that a credit union may adopt. So in all of this, I just wanted to talk about the member experience as they move through the CXP. And so, as I mentioned, this member experience portal, this is a portal that is completely configurable to our clients' requirements. There's optional splash pages here that can be managed by our clients within the Doxim CCM portal over on the left-hand side here. The homepage content here is completely manageable by our credit union clients' administrators. The entire CXP is mobile responsive. It has been tagged for ADA compliance, so it's fully accessible. It's not only will trigger, it's got the tagging to trigger assistive technology like text-to-speech readers, but it also has been structured so that folks who, for instance, can't actually manage a mouse, this can be totally navigated by using keyboards. And so that's another degree of accessibility, as well as the ability to manage font sizes. All of that is built right into the portal, and it's completely out of the box so that our credit union clients do not have to worry about members with differing abilities and their ability to, or their ability to access the content within the portal. It is all built in. And so with that, as we look at customizations to this environment so that our credit union clients can ensure that this is a seamless experience between their online banking system and the portal, we can definitely build in obviously the colors, the fonts, the logoing into this portal so that it's consistent with the credit union's brand and online look and feel. We can build in additional links here that are consistent with links that may exist within the credit union's online site for members. And these links can actually access files like newsletters, or actually can link back to the credit union's existing site if there's a disclosure that needs to be maintained or needs to be presented and maintained within the online banking site. This can link back to that site. But I will stop here and just pop back into the Doxim CCM portal so that you can see how the degree of flexibility associated with the CXP. So as we've seen here, the homepage is all focused on September being financial planning month, but of course we are now into October. So within the Doxim CCM portal, which is again our client's gateway into the Doxim CCM platform, there is full control by the credit union administrator to sort of manage the content that appears in the CXP. But by way of a quick introduction to this CCM portal, the first page that shows is the dashboard that kind of shows the metrics associated with digital adoption tied to, or separate from that, of physical print and mail of statements and communications that go out to members. But as we see here, there is a customer portal option, which allows the credit union administrator to come in here and manage the splash page that appeared on the CXP. So in this case, the COVID splash page is appearing, so we can disable that, save that, and enable the new splash page for October, which is, I believe it'll be tied to an auto loan promo. And so we will enable that for the CXP. And then we can move into the homepage side, and we can see here that the general welcome is enabled. So we can disable that and get rid of the September financial planning month message and set up an auto promo message for October. And so it is as simple as that, where a credit union administrator or marketing team member can come in and define the messaging that they'd like to put in place, and they can do it through this HTML editor. It's a WYSIWYG editor, so obviously you can pretty much build in any images, any text, any styling of the text, and then you can set dates for when it'll display, and then you can set it up so that it's enabled all the time, or it's only present during certain times, but nonetheless, you can set it up within this CCM portal, and that is immediately active on the CXP with the new splash page that we've set up. Whoops, sorry, I don't think I've actually enabled this. Enable this for October 6th, yes. And I will log out and log back in, and there we go. My apologies. So there we go. And then we've got the October campaign tied to the auto loan all set up. We do still have an alternate campaign going on at the bottom. If we don't want to have that active, we can certainly deactivate that within the CCM portal. But nonetheless, that is how easy it is for credit unions to get their message, to get their campaigns, to get their promos in front of their members through the Doxim CCM portal, direct through to this member-facing customer experience portal. Once we move into the member statement side, we can see that, we can deploy obviously PDFs that are print replicas. So this could be, this is exactly what a member may receive inside their mailbox. But you can see here within the statement, we can build in areas which we call onserts to allow credit union, again, marketing team to put in current messaging, current campaigns and promos into the statement as an integral part of the statement, so that members really get that message when they open their mailbox and break into that printed statement package. And they can really get their message if they opt to access their digital PDF statement. So it's all built in here, and these onserts are completely managed through the print communications module of the Doxim CCM portal. And again, it's a direct control so that our clients, our credit union marketing teams can simply go in there and change out these onserts as they see fit from on a month-to-month basis. Once we start talking about HTML statements, that's a whole other story. And so what we see here is an HTML statement that has been structured to be, again, fully accessible so that members can access it using their assistive technology devices. But you can see here that in a fairly simple way, it's also leveraged the interactivity and flexibility that HTML affords our clients. And so things like being able to tuck away content easily and make the experience very clean for members as they enter in to see their statements, but tucking away content, being able to build in digital assets like video, that's something else that HTML definitely allows for, and something like PDFs definitely would not allow for. Being able to build in, again, the same sort of onserting that you saw with the PDFs, well, you can also obviously build in that kind of value add messaging right into the HTML statement. And then at that point, it's a matter of knowing that with an HTML statement, because it's not page bound, there is a need to sort of logically lay out the statement. And so that's when you really leverage the capabilities of HTML in order to include that degree of interactivity. But the reality is that, looking at an HTML statement on a large screen like this it's pretty clean. It looks pretty modern and fresh, but it's, as I'd mentioned at the beginning of this session, it really is tied to, HTML is really tied to the fact that members are actually accessing the online world through their phones. And so what I have here is my smartphone casted on screen. And what I have here is what a member might receive, which is that their statement is ready. It's an SMS notification. There is a link to the site. And this could be actually a link to a credit union's online banking site. And they could pass through that online banking site and single sign on through direct to the portal. So this, as you can see, is exactly the same as the portal that I have opened up on my browser. But this is the mobile version. And so, as I'd mentioned before, the portal is completely mobile responsive, and you can see that here with respect to how all of the content is sort of relayed itself out so that it makes sense and it fits on the screen. But as we move into an HTML statement, you can see that the importance of HTML for a mobile view of a statement cannot be strongly reiterated enough, because it's the flexibility, the fact that the mobile responsiveness of the HTML kicks in, and suddenly this statement has been sort of restructured so it fits that mobile view quite nicely. And all of the sort of tucking away of content, it all makes sense now when you start looking at it from a mobile view, because the important thing here is to make sure that the statement summary is, well within the first screen of a mobile view of the statement. And so in order to do that, you really need to tuck away some content that needs to be readily available in case somebody needs to call the credit union, but it doesn't need to occupy front and center on the first screen of a mobile device. And so we can tuck that away. And at this point, we're looking at the account summary, and it's very nicely presented in that table. All of the value add content is available for those who want to consume it and those who want to engage in that video. It's right there for them. But the key here, a key element here is the whole concept of segmenting the statement so that members can very quickly find what they need to find without scrolling through a whole bunch of transactions, trying to find that one specific transaction on within a specific account that they may have. And so it becomes very important to make sure that this experience on the mobile phone for this particular statement is very streamlined and allows for members to have, have a very positive engagement experience with that statement. And that's really why we believe that HTML statements are the future of digital experiences between credit unions and their members. And so I think I've gone through, all the elements of the Doxim CCM platform of services that are directly member facing and that our clients have control of through the Doxim CCM portal that we can deploy for them in order to really streamline how they're able to deliver those member communications. And so I think at this point we've sort of reached the end of our session, and I just wanted to end the session with the fact that, the number one reason that credit unions should choose Doxim today is really that tied to the fact that we have the technology and scale and stability to support your business, and that we're quite nimble and visionary and innovative in terms of being able to help drive digital member engagement, because again, we are a digital first solutions provider for the credit union industry. Kenton, did you have any closing words for the session attendees?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone, for their time. Hopefully they found it extremely valuable, gain new insights and even new thoughts to take back to their team and share, especially if they're at a crossroads right now, really looking for a solution that will help them grow, meet their growth needs, their growth goals, and most importantly, really meeting their need to effectively communicate with their members, and really looking to adopt the wave of digital adoption as newer, younger, more tech savvy members sign up and join their member base.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Kenton.